Today, I want to answer the question, was Jesus truly predicted by the prophets of the Old Testament? Some people reject some of the predictions, some of the prophecies they don't think are valid. Well, I'm going to examine those with you in a talk from my upcoming book, Person of Interest. Actually, it's available right now online, everywhere that books are sold. At a conference I did where we're just talking about the fuse of prophecy that leads up to the appearance of Jesus. Enjoy. Look, I've had cases where, a guy commits a crime and it turns out that not everyone was surprised that he did it. As a matter of fact, there are sometimes witnesses who will say, yeah, I can see this coming. I've known this couple for a number of years. I saw the fights developing. I could have predicted this would have happened. Well, it turns out that there's people when it comes to Jesus who had a similar experience. They could have predicted. Not everyone was surprised that the Messiah appeared when he did. As a matter of fact, both the writers in the Old Testament and the writers in the New Testament have a high regard for prophecy. Let me show you what Isaiah says in the Old Testament. He says, remember, the former things long past, for I am God. God is speaking now through Isaiah. And there is no other. I am God, and there is no one like me. Declaring the end. This is what God does. He declares the end from the beginning. And from ancient times, things which have not been done, saying, my purpose will be established and I will accomplish all my good pleasure. So the ancients before Jesus knew that God had the ability to predict the beginning from the end from the beginning. Now, interestingly, the New Testament writers had a very similar high regard for God's ability to do this. As a matter of fact, Peter writes it this way, as to this salvation, the prophets who prophesied of the grace that would come to you made careful searches and inquiries, seeking to know what person or time the Spirit of Christ within them was indicating as he predicted the sufferings of Christ and the glories to follow. In other words, New Testament authors were aware of the long tradition of prophets who were looking for, predicting, and pointing to the coming Messiah. What we're talking about here, of course, is